Hey guys, so this video is going to be about my Demi-Permanent hair dye routine. But firstly, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the benefits of using Demi-Permanent versus semi-permanent and versus permanent hair dye. So I personally love using Demi-Permanent because it's way less damaging on your hair. And this is coming from someone who has a sister who's a hairstylist, and she's the one that told me to use Demi-Permanent. So this hair color right here, this was from permanently dyeing my hair. I used the L'Oreal Highlights, the magenta color. I dyed it red. It was really bright red, and so this is what I'm left with. So since then, since I've done that, I've just been using nothing but Demi-Permanent because I really didn't like how that turned out. Like, my hair looked kind of orange, and that's because the processing. So using a developer with a permanent hair dye is going to probably strip your hair a lot more, and it's just much more damaging on your hair. And I didn't like the oranginess that was left behind once the color rinsed out of my hair. So I was on the phone with her, and basically I learned all this information because I made a mistake using permanent hair dye. That's why she kind of like told me, okay, don't use permanent hair color, just don't, because that will never ever wash out of your hair. It never ever will. Like, it's gonna be there until it grows out, and you keep piling permanent hair color on top of that, and it's just like gross for your hair. It's not good for your hair, and it all basically washes out anyway. So even if you do have a permanent hair color, it washes out, and I think anyone who's dyed their hair kind of knows that it will eventually wash out. So why not just use something that's less harsh on your hair, and something where you can also kind of like play around with colors. If you happen to dye your hair a color that's not so great, then it's not going to be that big of a deal. So you're probably wondering, what's the difference between semi-permanent and demi-permanent? So semi-permanent is going to wash out of your hair within like 3 to 5 shampoos, depending on what brand it is, and usually it doesn't require a developer. Not that I've never seen a semi-permanent hair color that required a demi-permanent. Usually you just take the dye straight from the bottle and put it all over your hair. So that's definitely not damaging to your hair. It's just depositing color. It's not going to cause any kind of breakage or issues with your hair. So that's probably the best route if you want to play around with like crazy colors. These are things that I always get from Sally's. You can also order stuff like online if you want like higher end stuff. For demi-permanent hair color, that will last you a little bit longer. It lasts around like 20 shampoos. So it will probably last your hair like around 2 months, something like that, depending on how much you wash your hair. So that's why I really love using Demi-Permanent. Now, if you're wanting to use a crazy color in your hair, it's not going to show up as well if your hair is darker. It'll look kind of tinted. So it's easier for like lighter colored hair to experiment with different colors and everything like that. So if you are wanting to experiment with different colors, you might want to lighten your hair a shade or two. Just be careful about lighting it, because lightening your hair is like the most damaging process. So you want to be careful about how you're doing that. I think the pros definitely are way in favor of using a demi-permanent, because to me it's basically like it has the same longevity as permanent hair dye, at least on my hair, because even when, like I said, when I use a permanent hair color, it washes out of my hair within like the same amount of time, and I have to end up re-dyeing it anyway. The brand that I like to use from Sally's is this Age Beautiful brand. The color that I have is 5RR, which is medium intense red. So I was missing the red in my hair. I hope this comes out bright. I've never used this color from them. I've used a red from this brand, so I think it'll be fine, and I'll show you guys how that turned out. But just in case you're wondering, my natural hair color is around a level 6, so it's like the darkest blonde that there is. Right now it's looking kind of dark because I did a demi-permanent dye, I want to say about a month ago, and this is like how my hair has washed out. So it's still pretty dark. Like, it will leave a stain in your hair. So trust me, before my hair was like orange. Also from this brand that I want to mention is they do have a demi-permanent developer, which with demi-permanent hair colors, you usually do need a developer, and this is about like a level 6. So that's why I really like this. Usually standard developers come from like 10 to 40. This is a little bit less, so it's gonna be less harsh on your hair. And plus, like, you really don't need anything too high because you're just depositing color. You don't really need to open up your hair cuticle a whole lot. It's just way less damaging on your hair. And I've gotten like 3 different hair dye jobs out of this and still have a lot of product left. The ratio is 1:1. So it's just really easy and convenient that they also give you a developer for like specifically for demi-permanent hair dye. So that's what I would recommend. A lot of people say just use a level 10, which you can do that, that's fine, because that's the gentlest, lowest developer. But if you want to go even lower and kind of save yourself some more damage and all that kind of stuff, this would be the way to go. And this is the only brand that I've seen actually have like a dedicated Demi-Permanent hair color developer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix this stuff together and I'm going to apply it to my hair. I'm going to change my shirt and all that. So I am so messy with hair dye, you guys. Okay, so here's my little mixing bowl, and I just use like a regular plastic bowl. So here's what the actual like hair dye tube looks like, and then it comes with a little poker thing so you can poke the metal part and just squeeze it all out. That looks really red. Oh, I was supposed to put on gloves. Don't forget your gloves. I always buy these at the dollar store, and they're great to have on hand for stuff like this and like cleaning and all that. Okay, and then I just take my little brush. I got this also from Sally's. It was like $1. And just mix it up until it looks like a good consistency, which this is kind of thick, so I'm gonna probably add more developer in it so you guys can kind of see. This also kind of smells good. It kind of has like a berry smell, but then it does have like a chemical smell too. And so I kind of like get it at this kind of consistency where it's not like too runny, but it's not like too thick either, because you want it to like stick in your hair pretty good. So here's what my hair color looks like right now before I actually dye it, so you guys can have like a really good idea of what it looks like. I'll probably show it to you with my lights on and then without them so you could see my hair a lot better. And I am dyeing my hair on second day hair, so it is a little bit dirty, but I try not to dye it when it's like super grimy, because then I feel like the hair dye doesn't sink in as well. But I also don't like to apply it to like freshly clean hair. So as you can see, my roots are pretty dark. That's my natural hair color, and then from there down you can see where I used that permanent hair color and it definitely lightened it up. So right now my hair is kind of like a coppery mahogany red color. Alright, so let's get to dyeing our hair. So like I said, I just kind of section it off into 2 sections, and you guys are going to see like just how messy I am when I dye my hair. Like I am such a mess. I'll have this whole place looking like a crime scene. So I just try to like get a thin layer at the base to make sure I get all these like little baby hairs down here and stuff at the nape of my neck, and then just kind of work up from there. I just take one of these cheap like Dollar Tree hair clips and like hold the rest of my hair. If you can have someone do this for you, it's so much easier to like get the back of your head and stuff. Oh, also don't forget to put Vaseline around the perimeters of your face and like on the back of your neck, and I put it on my ears and stuff too. It makes it so much easier when you have hair dye like on your face. Like I will have this all over my face here in a minute, just watch. So I told you guys that I would have myself looking like a crazy bloody psycho, but okay, so my hair is pretty well saturated and I have a lot left, so I'm just gonna go through and put the rest of this product in anywhere that it may feel a little thin. It's always good to try and get like the little baby hairs that surround your face, because I always seem to miss those, so I end up looking like this. Okay, you guys, I'm back. Here is my hair color, and it's pretty dark actually. It almost looks just like kind of brown or dark brown, but you can see the red, just the hint of it. I was kind of hoping it'd be a little bit brighter, but I'm glad I'm okay because I was scared that it might be too bright. So just so you guys know, this is what it looks like. So you can see from my root to my ends, everything looks copacetic. So if you guys have never tried a Demi-Permanent hair dye, I would highly recommend it. Like I said, my sister, who is a stylist, said that she always recommends people using Demi-Permanent unless You have gray hair, which gray hair, it's a lot easier to cover up with permanent hair dye, and you're not going to be able to lighten your hair with Demi-Permanent. It's only for depositing color, and she said it's really good because you're not going to have those demarcation lines where, you know, if you're growing your hair out and you've permanently dyed your hair, your roots won't be growing out and you have that demarcation line where the dyed hair is and the virgin hair is, you know what I'm saying? And I really wanted to share that information with, trying to flip my hair back and forth. I hope you guys can see this color good. It is like very, very dark compared to how it was before. If you guys want to dye your hair and you're stressed about like damage and all that kind of stuff, I really, really recommend that you try a semi-permanent or a Demi-Permanent. It's really not a big deal. If you get kind of a color you're not comfortable with or you don't really care for, it will wash out. It's not a big deal. It doesn't damage your hair. And again, you don't have that grow out of your roots and everything like that. So, and it all really depends on your hair type and everything. So this is just going according to what I've been told and my experience with Demi-Permanents. I've not tried any other brand besides the Age Perfect brand, which I really, really like. I don't think they have a whole lot of color range. I know Ion also has their own Demi-Permanent colors, so it just all really depends on your hair. I'd say if it's your first time using a Demi-Permanent, don't leave it in so long. Just follow the directions. Keep checking your hair and seeing how the color is doing. Is it getting too dark? Because sometimes it will get a little darker than you're wanting it to because the developer is so low. It's not going to lighten your hair. It's just depositing color. So just keep checking it and try it out. I think Demi-Permanent's great. It's really changed my hair game because I like changing my hair color, but I don't like the consequences of using a permanent hair dye. So this is just like a great alternative, and I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, so I thought it'd be helpful to make this video, and hopefully this will clear up some confusion for you guys, or maybe encourage you to also try some semi-Demi-Permanent hair colors. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me below in the comments. I think I covered everything that I possibly could. So yeah, this was really fun for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!